Coach Rick Burns. We'll go right into questions.
I would imagine it wasn't too hard, but how hard was it to turn the attention, Coach, from what happened the other night to Kentucky for tomorrow?
Well, it is, and again, we're proud of what these guys have accomplished up to this point, but we know that there's another game Saturday, and it's a big game. It's the last one of the year, and certainly senior night for some special guys here, but it's a mindset. We keep talking about that, and we know that great respect for Kentucky, and I think they're the most explosive offensive team in the country, and John does what he always does. He gets his guys playing great basketball at the end of the year, and they just keep building, and they've been on a little bit of a roll themselves. So again, it doesn't take much to get our guys' attention because of the respect that they have for Kentucky and their program, and so we know that we're going to have to be ready to play.
Rick, how different are they, if any, from that first meeting up there at Rupp?
Well, they got, Justin Edwards has become more of a part of it. DJ Wagner didn't play up there, and so they've got different guys, and I think they've all improved. I mean, we saw what Watt Dillingham did against us, but Reed Shepard, those guys are all improved, and we've got a lot of guys that can make difficult shots and go get their own shots, and again, it's what John does. His teams always get better. They always do, and he got a lot of young guys work into it, and he's done exactly what all of us that know him would expect him to do.
Coach, James and Vescovy have been here 5 years. You know how special they are to the program more than I do, but if you could put into words, what they've really meant to this program over the 5 years they've been here.
Well, I can't put it into words because we'd be here all night about it, because I could talk about each one of them for hours on hours, because from the time they got here, and we were really in a transition period, and those guys were young and growing up, but they're the ones that over the last, they've been the rock, both of them. And then you throw Zakai coming in, and then you add Dalton to this group, but Josiah and Santi, I mean, they've been the rock. They've been the foundation. They've been the ones that have, they know us. They know the coaches better than anybody. They know our standard. They know everything that we want done here, and so they're a voice not only to their teammates, but a voice that, from a coaching staff standpoint, that we listen to.
Coach, kind of in that same vein, you talk about culture a lot here, and you talk about those two guys being about it. What's it mean to the program that a guy like Grant Williams in the middle of this NBA season he has a night off, he drives down to Columbia to be with you all?
Well, everybody in sports talks about a culture, and everybody has a culture. I don't care if they use that term or not. Everybody has something, and whatever word they want to put on it. But the fact that Grant, it's neat having him back in Charlotte. I got to spend some really good time with him after the game in Columbia, but I do think it speaks volumes about his love for this university, and obviously the basketball program here, and that's the things that you would expect years going on forward that Santi and Josiah would do, because they both could have left from any way they wanted to leave, but they didn't. They decided last year, both of them, they went through the process they needed to, but they told us from the beginning that where their heart laid, and they wanted to go explore, but we felt they were coming back, and thankful that they did, because again, for 5 years, I mean, I'm going to miss them in ways that, again, I could talk hours about it, but what Grant did, I think, speaks volumes for what's happened in our time here, and I'm thankful and blessed that we've been able to coach a group of guys over these 9 years that care a lot about this university.
What impression has Dalton left on you this season?
His humility, when he came in, he never once talked about coming in and thinking he was going to be the leading scorer, going to do this or do that. He simply said from the beginning, I want to be in a winning program. I'd like to have a chance to play in the NCAA tournament, and I want to be part of a good program, and I want to be coached hard. And I think the fact that you talk about I think you talk about Santi, Joe, and Dalton, the word that comes to mind is humility. I don't think those guys have a false sense of security in terms of who they are, how they got to act. I think they go about the way they go about their business every day. I did an interview this morning with a radio interview, and I made a comment. I guarantee you, when I walk in the day before practice, Josiah will be out on the court, and he's out there. And you just get to know these guys, in the way they go about their business. And I said before, I've walked out of here many nights late, and Dalton in there shooting, and I like, make sure you're taking care of your body. He said, I'll be in the ice bath tonight, I promise. And Santi the same way. It's just that you spend so much time with these guys, you get to know them. And if anybody deserves to have 2 senior days, I would say it's probably Josiah and Santi.
What's to say about Santi that he's embraced a role this season where he's not shooting as much as he did the last few years?
Well, he's all about winning. I mean, nobody leads the country in more winning plays that go unnoticed than Santi. But Santi's a very unselfish player. I mean, he understands who he is, what he needs to do. But again, from the time we started recruiting, really Justin first, and then Dalton, we knew we needed to add some offense to us, and those guys knew it too. And they're really part of the reason those guys are here, because Santi and Joe, they've gone out of the way to make sure that everybody comes in here, that it's the guys that we want, they make sure that they want to be part of the team, and the way they do their deal with them. I think people leave being impressed with Joe and Santi and the way they handled everything in the recruiting process. But it's just humility, and those guys, and Santi is an example of that.
What's been your favorite story or memory of Dalton this season? Obviously, you want bigger ones in the future, but so far.
Well, again, today someone asked me about him, and we go through preseason, and you guys watch a lot of it and see it, and I don't think any of you guys thought he was going to do what he did either. And I think the biggest moment was I said it after the exhibition game against Michigan State. One, he played harder than he'd ever played in practice defensively, and then when he made that dunk, I'm like, whoa, because I hadn't seen that either. I've seen him do some things, but and then certainly hearing about the guys in the summer, he and Jemiah going at it. But I mean, there's a lot of things he's done, but I hope he's got a lot more left in the bag as we head down the stretch here.
How important and valuable is having a walk-on like Colin Coyne, who's can play in the post and emulate looks like that?
It's amazing. We take great pride in trying to put together our walk-ons. I mean, our coaching staff, people will probably be shocked how hard and how much intel we do on that. And I got a call from Bob McKillop. He told me about Colin, and he said, I promise you, you will love having him in your program. He said, if I were going to coach another year, I'd love for him to be here. But he said, you're going to love him. And from the time that he's gotten here, one, he's improved a lot, but he's become a huge part of this program. And the fact that he's earned the respect of his teammates, we're going to miss him. I mean, you look at what he does, and we'll getting ready to a story about him. We're getting ready to play Auburn, and Janai Broom is left-handed, and we said, hey, we got to get some moving to your left, and he went out and for days worked on shooting left-handed. And I mean, he takes his role so seriously, and you love people like that. And again, he's been a big part of our program, and we're going to miss him too, just because he cares so much about his teammates and what we're trying to get done together.
Rick, what kind of legacy do you think Santi and Josiah leave? I know they still have some games here to come, but their final home game here.
Well, again, I would say I think maybe the best thing is talk about a transition they went through. I think that Grant and his group was the beginning of a foundation that we wanted to lay here. But those guys have certainly come in, and they've been pillars to keep it going. I mean, both of them, and they've had their ups and downs. And you think about it, we recruited Josiah extremely hard. I mean, as hard as maybe anybody we've recruited over a 2-year period. Mike Schwartz did an incredible job locking there early when he was a sophomore. We recruited Santi for Kim McDonald to do some people at the NBA Academy all of about a month, and he decided he was going to leave early and come. But Joe came in with high expectations. Santi, nobody knew who he was, but they both got here different ways. But they're going to leave the same way in the fact that again, almost like cornerstones in their time here, that they've been a rock that we've been able to rely on and build on.
Rick, did the way Santi started his career here tell you what you needed to know about him when he was thrown into the mix?
Yeah, again, Santi, I remember or yesterday, he got here and I said, hey, give me some sets you're familiar with and we'll put them in. We got one day here to get it going because we need you. And we were doing a little bit of some things what he talked about, but I think he hit 5 threes in that game. But he was in terrible shape. We laughed about that. You know, he was really in terrible shape. The way he went from a guy that everybody said offense, where he became such a complete player. He's played every spot other than what the post position. He'll guard anybody, but Santi's, you know, defensively, I mean, he's become one of the elite defenders in the country. And the fact that his work ethic, he's a high-level competitor. If Santi were playing checkers, he'd want to win. And but he's totally changed. And you know, last summer was the first summer he really spent with us because of obligations and doing other things. But he's totally changed what he was known as, a guy that was like just a spot-up shooter, and he's become so much more than that.
You said in the last press conference that basketball is a game of runs. Against Kentucky, what kind of do you think will be the hardest part of that 40-minute run?
Well, they're great in transition. Got to keep the floor balanced because they got some guys that will leave early because I think they got confidence in their rebounders to get the ball, and we got to take away those quick hitting plays, segments where they can put up a lot of points quickly, and but they have some really prolific scorers. They can go. I look back on our game with Rob Dillingham. I mean, we guarded him, I think, as well as he could be guarded, but he just made some terrific shots. And they've got other guys now that have, I think, gotten confidence and are playing, and so it's going to be us really understanding how important every possession is going to be and being ready to do what we need to do to try to stop those runs and not letting them hit us with a lot of them.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Coach.
That's right.